I'm Johannes Debus, music director of the Canadian Opera Company in Toronto. I've led the acclaimed COC Orchestra for more than a decade. And I'd like to introduce you to some of my incredible colleagues. Today we will get our fire from Carmen by Georges Bizet. Carmen is one of the most performed operas in the world. It's full of blazing melodies and follows the story of a fiercely independent woman caught up in a high-stakes game between soldiers and a bullfighter. The opera finishes in a violent clash of passion and jealousy. But before all of this, we hear a sweeter aria, Je dis que rien ne m'épouvante. To talk more about the expressive horn in this part of the score, we're going to connect with Scott Wevers. Scott is principal horn player with the COC Orchestra. He's also played horn with the National Ballet of Canada. I always have been fascinated about the French horn in particular. And I also had a moment in my life where I contemplated about trying to learn the French horn. But I heard so many things about the difficulties to actually play that instrument that I shied away. And now I'm in this comfortable position to enjoy the sound you and your colleagues are able to make. Explain a little bit what the difficulties of that instrument are, in your opinion.
You can just pick up the instrument and buzz and play a note. And it can be one of 10 or 11 or 12 notes. There's so many factors that go into producing the notes that at first blush, anyone picking it up could be a little bit like overwhelmed by there's all these keys and whatever to play, but even just if you want to get a certain note, you don't have to press down any valves and you can get one of 10 different notes.
So in other words, you, our audience, you could try that with a garden hose at home.
I could have brought one of those.
To then get to the level that you reached and to be actually able to not just play a few harmonics, but
play the full range of the instrument smoothly.
Exactly.
Yeah, it takes many years, of course, and a good ear is essential.
Yeah.
Pitch memory is the other thing that experienced players depend on.
Mm-hmm.
Just knowing how each specific note feels before you play it, just the setup, the preparation, this is a D too.
And this is like micro muscle memory?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like many instruments. The violinists, of course, they have to place their fingers in extremely precise locations, so their muscle memory as well is extremely attuned.
Yeah. Scott, you're a specialist not only on the French horn, but on the instrument that kind of led to the French horn, which we call Naturhorn. I don't know the English expression for that instrument.
The natural horn.
Natural horn, of course, yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
And you actually brought us
I did.
This instrument, and it really looks a bit like just a winded up tube.
It's exactly what it is, yeah. It's very, very simple, very basic. This is what they played on before they had invented the valves, of course, which was developed mostly in the 19th century.
You told me earlier, Scott, that Bizet probably had this kind of instrument in mind, the natural horn, rather than the modern French horn with the valves, which kind of leads us nicely back to the piece we are going to talk about, the opera we're going to talk about today, which is Carmen. Carmen is, well, it's one of the most popular operas of all times. In Act 3 of the opera, Don Jose has decided to join the smugglers, the gang around Carmen. He's kind of giving up his previous life in a way. And now one figure of this previous life, maybe from his childhood, maybe a figure that is associated with his hometown that he left, is Michaela. And she comes back to find him and maybe to rescue him. And this mission for her is, it's a task. It's a big task. She's there. It's night. It's dark, and she's going to face the smugglers and also Carmen.
I believe at this part she says, "Give me courage. Give me courage. Protect me, Lord." And then you get this lovely, atmospheric, lovely horn solo. So I believe the horn is sort of the color of the instrument sort of gives her this like fortitude. She's steeling herself to prepare herself to confront Carmen.
Yes. Give her strength. And confidence.
And yes, exactly. And to do the honorable thing, which is to take Don Jose away from the seductress.
Exactly. With no further ado, I would say let's move on to hear the horn giving Michaela the confidence she needs in that moment. I find it also extremely atmospheric.
Yes.
You really, and maybe that's also a trait of this whole score, that we get an idea of the perfumes, everything that is in this kind of Mediterranean context at play, and that kind of excites our senses. That happens in that moment too, and with the color of the horn, we almost are able to imagine this summer night under the Spanish sky.
Yes.
Starry night.
Yes. Yeah. It's very evocative.